201?
210. I'll give you the number.
Okay. Don't worry about it. I'm looking.
Okay, we're on the air, and guess what it is? Bam! And you know what? And it don't stop. I'm so jazzed about the investment. I just can't even tell you. With all this world trade talk, this geopolitics, I am in my element. I love it. I know a lot of you guys don't like to hear about the bloody side of war, but this is the stuff that's going to help not only make us, hopefully, but it's going to help us with other investments down the road. You feel me? I love hearing about how people, make trade deals and set up new trade agreements and understand what the meaning behind the dollar is, not just dollars.
Oh. Okay, I got you.
Man.
Oh, okay.
Who that is?
I'm just trying to get it right. I had it wrong.
That's it. That's all she wrote right there. You still doing what you're doing? And someone told me last video, you are so rude. You weren't prepared. You know what I said to you? I am what I am. I'm human. And that's what all we can ever strive to be, is to be the best human being we can be towards other human beings. That's why I'm not even going to say your name. But you know what? You leave a comment like that again, I'll block you. Because you know what? It's hard to prepare 3 or 4 times a week to put on a live show, as well as have, at least 300 to 400 of my favorite friends in one video session together, as well as manage our other multimedia platforms and still bring you the top-notch information that you guys require. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh, I was going to say there's only 104 people watching. My gosh, can I say hello to the most livest, most awesomest, most, dedicated group of people that are about an investment of anybody in the whole United Universe? Can I say thank you to you guys? I don't say it enough. I don't think people can say it enough to their fan subscribers, not subscribers. Family, meaning that we're a family. We're in this investment together. We all subscribe to the same general thinking. And if we don't, we talk about it, right? So I don't want to call them subscribers. I want to call them fam subscribers, because I truly believe that the investment is heading in places that no one really saw the outcome for it, right? Ooh, you at 120. I'm at 104. Okay, so.
That Android life. Man,
I could tell. Gosh, dog, bowling. We stay live. I don't want copy instruction. Bowling. Okay. Okay. First of all, I thought I'd do a brief recap of everything good that I found for the last couple days. I did a little bit on the other channel, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit too, because I think it's to understand geopolitically where you are is to understand what's going to happen to you geopolitically here in the future. So you've got to realize that you're not in a bad spot, okay? You're in a good spot. Even though it doesn't look good on the forefront of trade wars, it doesn't look good on real wars, it doesn't look good on this and that. Geopolitically speaking, it enforces policy. And remember, we talked about fiscal policy and policy written that we need to happen to see our dreams and our realities come true. Now, it is Friday night. It's TGIF. I'm so glad that you guys took the time out to see us. We're 2 minutes into it. So I'm going to say, may I please, 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 did I tell you that you are the most gorgeous, sexy wife on the whole? I don't know if y'all know this, but my wife is better than yours.
Stop. Humble pie.
My wife is better than yours.
Humble pie. Everybody thinks their wife or husband's better than, because they would have picked somebody else if they thought that way. So remember that. Right?
I get it. So well, can I at least say this to you? Would you please do me the honor of introducing yourself to the most sexiest audience on earth?
Who am I today? April BB. That's who I am.
You're not April XRP? April Bitcoin? Cryptocurrency? Crypto.
My friend called me, Kevin calls me April Crypto.
Kevin with a K. I'm Crypto. I'm crossing out the C's.
Crypto.
Because it's dead. Made that money last week. Now I'm out.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hope all is well.
Hey, Divine. I know you hate when I say crypto.
Hey, Lori.
Love you guys.
Hey, Mary. Hey, Dwayne.
Okay. We talked about a few things last couple days. Wednesday, we had a great talk. I thought it was awesome. I shared with you guys that not only Kia was in Iraq, I shared with you guys that Nissan has facilities in Iraq. Now, you got to understand this.
You're about to, I'm sorry. This is breaking news.
Breaking news.
I'm having a cocktail because we have AC. I just want to say that because we haven't had AC all week.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all, the air is back on. Thank
good.
God. If y'all were ever wondering, yes. You can see I got my headscarf on. We have been in the heat. So imagine this. And I'm going to be real for a second. I bitched about the air being at, like, let's say 80. I think today the highest inside was 88 degrees. Could you imagine those poor people in those third world countries with no AC and living in a cinder block house? And I'm bitching about my liberties in my home. I had cable and food access and, money and credit. I mean, just all the blessings that God could bestow on one person. And I was complaining.
All I'm going to say is I'm grateful for AC. I'm so grateful.
I'm just trying to stress y'all that I feel those poor people. I mean, I do. I'm glad for AC, but I'm glad for the civil liberties and just also the blessings that they allowed us, to live here. And I didn't tell y'all who I am. In case you don't know who I am.
Mr. AC, Mr.
Cool on Cool.
Mr. AC.
Mr. Blue Ray.
I'm so icy.
Ooh! I dance the flyest. I am a young guy in the whole currency game, but I am the humble Mr. Brando. And welcome to the status of the Iraqi Dinar
IQD
Reinstatement. Booyah! No special effects because I got a lot of news to go over, okay? First of all, we know that we got the people out of Iraq. We got all our people out of the non-essential people out of the embassy, okay? Now, why do you do that? The reason why they got all the people out of the embassy because there was a real threat, an Iranian threat, that there was going to be missile usage in the strait against those carriers out there and missiles that were going to fly towards the embassy, okay? Now, on Wednesday, the Alliance of Reform confirms its support for Anti-Corruption Council to open the largest corruption files. Now, some of those old files are a few years old, but the Eyes of Iraq News Deputy Coalition Makuski said that within our program, its foundation is to fight corruption. And here's the thing about corruption. Even though it's on the forefront for things that you got to see for the revaluation to happen, you need to hear them stop talking about it and for major arrest and gangs to be taken down just like they do in the United States. You take down John Gotti, it makes the Wall Street Journal. It makes the New York Times. I need stuff to make the Baghdad news. I need Al-Somali. I need to hit all these different news groups that I rely on every day for the big time news. I need to see some major gangs taken down or some major politicians taken down before I really buy into this anti-corruption file by Mahandi, okay? Now, inclusion of 10 banks in the Kurdistan region in the blacklist. The Kurds just can't seem to ever get it together. They've managed to get 10 or so banks on the blacklist. They'll be able to get them off, but basically, in my idea, think about this. If you're Iraq and you can get those banks on the blacklist, it allows for you to take those private banks and help the state-owned agencies get in there, start manipulating that, starting to kind of hone them to what you want to be. Then it actually takes those blacklisted banks and make them friendly banks that everybody in the region can work upon and use as trade centers or accesses for different revenues. Because remember, a bank only makes money when they do interest. A bank only does money when they loan money out. So, and we're going to talk about Sharia law. Sharia law, a lot of people has a lot to do with the banking system, even though the Sharia law was having a banking report come out about the banking system. Sharia law is basically, when you talk about that in America, it's those, it's those Muslims that want Sharia law in America. Sharia, I think I'm saying it correctly. Sharia law on Americans. And I'm going to read that to you also, okay? Because I didn't know what Sharia law truly was until I read it. Electricity achieved the highest production in the history of Iraq and reveals the hours of processing. So I keep saying this, the closer and closer you get to the summer, the closer and closer you get to the point where you're going to be Iraq and need electricity. You were blessed all year and had rain. That's why your dams are full. You were blessed because you guys had a surplus in oil, but you guys have not prepared for the summer, meaning that you guys don't know if you guys are going to be ready or not to fight that heat. I did a little research about the signing of ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil actually has two affiliates that operate in Iraq. ExxonMobil Iraq, which is LTD, and ExxonMobil Kurdistan. So Exxon has solidified itself into the foothold of the Iraqi government. I'm sure that the People's Republic of China has also done that through their own state-owned bank agencies. If you guys didn't know about it, if you go to Patreon account, you can learn about the Chinese yuan. I did two accounts yesterday, one on Wong, one on the Vietnamese dong. So if you're interested in learning about different currencies, you can go to Patreon for those. There was a bunch of banks that were hit with fines for manipulating Forex rigging. Now, I've told this is no secret that I've actually taken about 4 tests now on Forex training. Now, I'm trying to really understand it, but the more and more I've studied Forex, the more and more it teaches me about precious metals. It also teaches me about digital currencies. And it seemed to be teaching me a lot about kind of like guessing the time to short something is buy in and buy out. So yeah, when I hear about these banks that are manipulating the currencies based upon whatever they want, it really upsets me because the individual retail consumer, which is us, think about this. If I buy a dinar, I'm actually a shareholder in the dinar economy, right? Good or bad. So when you hear about these countries or these companies manipulating it, it almost want to say that's treasonous in a way. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because it's manipulating the American dream of capitalism. And I think that so many people out there today don't like capitalism because they think of the big evil corporations. Yeah, evil comes from greed and greed comes from the basic human. But you got to understand there's a lot of people out there that want consumption. I'm a nationalist to my core. I believe in America. I believe in American soil. I believe in American people. I believe in American family. I believe in American home unit. But I also think that you have to establish yourself internationally to have great trade agreements and kind of if I see you and say, hey, Miss Beebe, I know you're from America and I'm from China, but if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Right?
Right.
Who's that? You trying to fill me out, Miss Beebe? You trying to make some Blasians? What you trying to do? Okay. So anyway, Baghdad, the head of the National Security Committee in Iran Parliament, top officials in Iran and America have said that they need to get together and they need to talk. So we're going to see how true that is here in the next couple hours. But that was early this morning that they said people need to speak.
Oh,
it says stocks are uncertain. The Senate approves. I hate this when the computer moves extra slow. The state Senate approves its new U.S. ambassador to Iraq. I think it's duly noted that Matthew Toller, as U.S. ambassador to Iraq, was also the U.S. ambassador to a couple of other different regions, one of them being Kuwait, one of them being Cairo. And he's worked in Baghdad and Riyadh. He's worked with the State Department as Director of the North Coast Office, and he's in charge of the Egyptian office. Now, I think that it's duly noted that he has an extensive background in the Middle East and should be a help, not a hurt. And I like the way that he's kind of gotten in there with the U.S. Bank Commerce and did little talks and stuff. I'm actually not bad with this guy. I want to see what he does. I think most State Department heads are kind of like, if your brother had a job, I could give him a job. That'd be their job. If you guys don't understand where Iraq is with the WTO has them on a list of 23 countries that are trying to make their ascension to the World Trade Organization.
Does it look like the China trade plan will go this month?
I mean, honestly, you got to ask yourself as an investor in this, do you want it to go this month? I mean, honestly, because for every moment you stall out China on over $200 billion in tariffs, do you want them to have an out to where they can revitalize their currency and save their economy without revaluing their currency and pushing the dong higher and also setting up trade where they're buying iron ore and iron works from North American companies such as Canada, America, Mexico? Do you want that, or do you want it to where it's a quick end and then all of a sudden we're still fighting for survival and waiting? You know what I'm saying? I want to see everybody get squeezed until they're forced into a situation.
So by squeezing China, that'll impact Iraq?
Oh, yeah, it does definitely, because they can't, remember, they can buy electricity, but Turkey stepped up and said they'll provide the necessary crude oil for them to run their electricity. So again, that further isolates them from Iran. It opens up, it closes the border off, so you don't have to worry about, you know, turbulence within the pipeline and stuff like that. And what people don't seem to realize is that if Iran runs smoothly, who cares what the rest of the region looks like to a certain extent? Because I do believe that Saudi Arabia is going to end up doing the first strike. I believe Israel is going to be the second strike. there's going to be, Iraq's going to kind of like me, I'm neutral, I'm the Swiss and all this, I have nothing to do with this, but they're going to kick ass and take names and get rid of some of these bad influence that Iran has over the region. Not just Iraq. You guys don't understand this. A lot of people say, well, until you get rid of Iran, well, then you got to get rid of Iran in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, in the Gaza Strip. Iran's outreach goes way beyond Iraq, okay? So quit saying that before you get rid of Iran influence. You got to get rid of it in the region for stuff to flow correctly. And that's where the setup of all these different trade agreements is, excluding Iraq and getting people ready for the international stage. Now, okay, foreign exchanges, because I hear that word thrown around so much, I'm going to define it. Foreign exchange reserves are the foreign currencies held by the country's central bank. They're also called foreign currency reserves. And why banks hold reserves, the most important reason is to manage their currency's value. So remember, the more currency that you hold in reserve, it helps manage your value. This is very important because remember, about a year ago, Iraq had a basic currency reserve of about $14.5 billion. Right now, I believe they're sitting at somewhere around 70, almost 65 to $77 billion. First quarter 2019. So you got to understand, I heard everybody last time say, well, they can't revalue if they only have 14 billion. Well, now they got 77 possibly. And at the end of the year, they'd be around I'd say around 2.5 to about $3.8 trillion. Now, $1 trillion in foreign currencies would put them probably within the top 10 of reserves and also make them a superpower because their currency is grossly undervalued with a GDP of around 4.8%. So I know what you're saying. That means crap. The indicators for a market are a couple of things. One of them has to be public view. So you got to look at Iraq and say, okay, publicly speaking, are they attractive? They're very attractive. That's why all these international agencies are coming in. Number two is stability. So if they set up trade and they've set up to where their currency can be revalued at some time, then you got to understand if they're holding the proper amount of reserves, then they could actually make a move or buy gold or treasury to offset their currency value. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Bonds, that's why I kept talking about bond notes. Watch China and how they deal with bond notes because they can only sell off so many bond notes until it forces their currency to go up, not down. They're going to devalue their currency to put the squeeze on America. Of course, I would do the same thing. But it's short term. You can't make your imports so expensive that the people in your country, because you've got more people in China than anywhere else, how are they going to eat? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So understand trade and what it can do for you and understand geopolitically what it means to own trade and to own your trade routes without having huge trade deficit. Okay? And that's why I believe that you're short-term in this investment, not long-term. Now, a country's exporters deposit foreign currency into their local banks. They transfer the currency to the central bank. Exporters are paid by their trading partners in US dollars or euros or part of the SDR basket. That's why the US dollar, you don't want to see it crumble. If you're working within a fiat system, understand something that I don't want the very system that I'm propping my wealth against, I don't want it to fall. Does that make sense?
Sorry, Daisy.
I'm sorry, babe.
Oh, no, you're fine. I
Okay.
actually did. I'm sorry, Daisy. I didn't mean to kick you.
Okay. Now, the Supreme Cleric of Iran basically told the Iraqis stay out of the business of Iran, USA infighting. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. The religious authority Fadil al-Barari issued the fatwa from Najib and came under the title is forbidden to interfere in the Iranian-American conflict. That's exactly what you want to hear because what you want to see is now there to be some type of imposement on the PMUs, which is basically a Shiite-run militia groups which have a lot of empathizers to the Iranian background. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that. So with that warning comes great stride because we want those influence diminished, okay? Now, getting back to China and getting back to trade, why does China buy U.S. Treasury bonds? Hold on.
Susan, I left you a message in the chat. Check with your local banks. I would check, if I'm getting the best value. I Googled dong is $42 for $1 million. So just check locally.
Right. Here is the reason why. I told you guys that I don't care what they do. They'll never sign off their debt because China's strategy is to maintain export-led growth, which aids in generating jobs and enables it through such continued growth to keep large population, that's China, productively engaged. Since the strategy is dependent on exports, meaning they don't really import anything for profit, they only export, mostly to the United States. Remember the analogy that I taught you guys. If I, Brandon Smith, superstar Brando, borrows from Chase Manhattan Bank $100,000 a day to go buy myself the most awesome kitchen devices that I need to make myself the most awesome chef, and I don't pay the bank back, guess who has a problem?
The bank.
The bank. Now, if I, Mr. Brando, the most humblest YouTube extraordinaire on the IQD as far as foreign trade geopolitics, borrows $10 million from the bank to start my super duper YouTube studio that's a lot like Vice, but more cooler, and I can't pay them back, guess who has a problem?
You do.
No, the bank. The bank does. I can't pay back 100 grand, I got a problem. They're going to ruin me. But if I borrow $10 million from somebody, and that's exactly the analysis of the trade deficit between China and America, they can only tariff $60 billion. Right now, they are tariffing basically at the almost whole, I mean, half the whole trade agreement in tariffs on China with what we're tariffing them on their trade. So understand this, they can't last forever, and they can't keep devaluing their currency to offset their costs. It's going to crumble their inflationary method. So you have to realize that, you guys, it's not rocket science. It's very simple. Okay. Now you're going to ask me, well, Mr. Brando, you're wrong. They've dumped more Treasury in the last few months than they've done in a long time, which is about 20.5 billion. The data covers trading in Treasuries with maturity of more than 1 year by foreign officials. They noted that the coverage of the data breakdown between China, U.S.-China's subsequent increase in tariff Chinese imports. Now, China has now sold treasuries every month since September in a fear the U.S. that China could ramp up its sales of treasury in an attempt to disrupt the market, put upward pressure on U.S. interest rates, and affecting raising borrowing costs in Washington. He says, I talk to all my clients about this. I get the questions whether the tool will be used or not. He says, the sheer size of China's reserves and that this even becoming conversation means that the market should take it seriously. But what people don't understand about that is if the market's going to take it seriously, they have to understand that if the United States stops buying goods from China and uses outsourced sources to buy those goods, then China has a problem, not anybody else. And they could prop up anybody's economy, such as a Malaysia, such as a Vietnam, such as one of those countries that are right there that China's invoked the infrastructure and the manufacturing on to make and enable a trade agreement. You can get ships there to get the stuff out. You just got to get the products made where you can buy it at a very, very efficient rate. But our fair president said that he wants the trade and the currencies to be on par value. That's why I said maybe they'll never get to $1 each, but you could expect 40 to 75 cents per on those places to make it very interesting for trade. And it would still be a fraction of what it could be made in the United States, but it would, because of its low cost, would open up a whole genre of new entrepreneurs that want to go to these foreign places, open up factories. Maybe it can't be all American made, but open up factories as well as put American factories in place to make the trade better. Because I think you're going to find out if something costs 50 cents to get made out of country, but in this country you could buy it for 25 cents, you'd have a whole bunch of more American made sold than you would ever have sold of foreign interest. It says this is going to have to be a long-term phenomenon where they are going to have to support their economy and ease their financial conditions. Okay? Normally, the answer to why this has happened has been very similar. It's been the exchange rate. The whole thing about this, like they said in this article, is about the exchange rate, about China. This time, the number is more surprising. There are a lot more open questions because they can't just lower their exchange rate to make them competitive. You see what I'm saying? That's the last thing China's going to do to open up trade back to America, is open up their exchange rate. Now, is the yuan on my radar as far as quick get rich soon? No, because even if they devalue it to 7, which is probably going to happen Monday or Tuesday, 7 yuan to $1. The best it's ever been is $1.50.
I thought it was 15 yuan to $1.
No, you're thinking
Vietnamese dong.
15 cents, yeah. But they're going to devalue it even more to like 7 cents.
I think 1 yuan is 15 cents.
Right now it is, right? But they're going to probably devalue it more.
Nice. Susan, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So you said, who do you bank with? Like, I would try to go inside of a bank. I know, I don't think it's wise for you to spend that kind of money online. So, I mean, if you drive into town, I know you said it's 50 miles away. If you're spending a day in town, I would do that. But you can also call. I called Chase over the phone. So I bank with Chase. I called them over the phone.
And if they force you to set up an account for $20, it's worth it. If you're going to invest, let's say, a few $100s in buying some dong to open up an account. You see what I'm saying? Over the phone. I'm just saying, at the 50-mile drive, it's worth, adding $20 to it so you don't have any hassle trying to buy or ascertain any dong.
Yeah, because one of the exchanges she's going through has a $500 minimum requirement. You don't need that much dong.
Nah.
Dong is $42.
$200. $200.
Even $100. I think $100 should suffice. That's 2 million dong.
Yeah, I'm just saying 4. That's my magic number, but that's me. Whatever.
So,
okay, now we talked about China dumping Treasury. Guess who's now one of the largest Treasury buyers that are U.S.? Just guess.
The largest Treasury buyers.
Dumpers were China. Now there's somebody big time rate. Iraq, yes. Iraq is offsetting their currency income by buying Treasury bonds at an extreme rate. Now here's something else that's very interesting. Iraq, whenever they put a bond interest forth in the financial community, guess what?
What?
They get returns in the 4 times. So now this is a country that basically has very little upside. They're unstable. They got terrorists. They got this and that. But why is their bond market, which is a key indicator of their currency, when you buy bonds from there, your money usually not just 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Their bond market is crazy. Meaning that Treasury bonds kind of like, are you selling off your debt? So if Iraq's selling off their debt, even though they're not selling off a whole bunch, if they set off something for $100 million, the return on that $100 million is usually 4 times to the investor.
Wow.
So
4 times?
4 times. That's what this says right here. Now, I was searching for in the U.S. Treasury about Iraq and how to understand how, when America got involved in the war, what was one of their things that they really wanted to see as an outcome. So I went on the U.S. Treasury Department website and I did a big research. And I know this is dated back in 2003. It was right after the whole conflicts, but it said one thing here that really stuck out in my mind. One of the main things about the State Department wanted to establishing with Iraq was, I'm going to read you just one paragraph. One of the most important objectives in the near future is to promote the establishment of a stable, unified, national currency, a currency that has the full and the confidence of the Iraqi people and which can be used as a store of value, is prerequisite for establishing a exquisite private industry. Okay.
Hey, babe. Why do people believe that they have to call an 800 number when the RV happens?
Because they've been fed BS from these so-called people that are in the know, that they truly believe that there's going to be some type of number. Let me explain this to you because of the sophistication of phone numbers right now. So let's just say someone was to set up a Google phone number, okay? And they wanted a call log of people that they could just run through a list of and say, hey, I've decided that I'm calling you. You have Iraqi Dinar. We have this Chase Bank Exchange Center. Don't you think that there would be a list of those phone numbers like there is right here?
Of course.
And I could double check those lists because most people aren't savvy enough to establish a fake number. They're going to give an address.
Or just like, when you're part of these Facebook groups or user groups, people pay attention. They look at it and then they send out spam.
Right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to know because it seems like we get that question often from people wanting to call an 800 number. I think I would be calling my bank or in there with my bank and building that kind of relationship. I'm just
with
that
your
person.
bank.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I'm always in my banker's face. I'm like, hey, I got a question.
I got questions. Do you have answers? Can you help me?
Yeah.
The whole idea is that no person is so smart that if I was that intellectually savvy into the economy, I'd be dealing on a level of like, let's say a George Soros or a Warren Buffett, right? So I have no problem going to my local bank and saying, hey, Susie Q Teller, or hey, Susie Q Wealth Manager, can you please answer some questions for me? And if those questions aren't satisfied the way I want, then I do my own research. And then I put that forth into my club activities. So I tell them what I'm doing too. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think one thing that a lot of people had was a thing about Sharia law. Sharia law is the cast of the words Muhammad called Hadith. His actions called Sunnah. And the Quran, which he dedicated, the Sharia law itself cannot be altered, but its interpretation. And this is where religion meets man, I believe, is truly screwed up. Called fiqh by muftis, Islamic jurists, is given latitude. So I'm going to read you guys these. And I hear all this talk about Sharia law in America and Sharia law in banking. Now, Sharia law in America, some of these things are very graphic. I'm going to warn you now. So if you're a squeamish person or you're a person that doesn't like stuff like this, I advise you right now to turn on your sound. I'm going to read all of them. Theft is punishable by amputation of the hand.
Ouch.
Criticizing or denying any part of the Quran is punishable by death. Criticizing, don't do that. This is,
okay.
I mean, for real. This is
the hand part, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Criticizing Muhammad or denying that he is a prophet is punishable by death. Criticizing or denying Allah is punishable by death. Muslim who becomes a non-Muslim, John Wick, is punishable by death. Well,
you can do it. I can't do it.
Well, because that was John Wick.
No, the John Wick got his finger cut off too.
And he did. He was punished.
Right. So that's why I said John Wick. And you're like, don't do that.
I'm just saying. A non-Muslim who leads Muslims away from Islam is punishable by death. A non-Muslim who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death. Dang, a non-Muslim man who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death.
Wait, a non-Muslim man?
Yeah, a non-Muslim man who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death.
But the Muslim woman not punishable?
A non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is punishable by death. Doesn't say anything about that.
That's weird.
A woman or girl who has been raped cannot testify in court against her rapist.
What?
Sharia law. Testimonies of 4 male witnesses are required to prove rape of a female. A woman or girl who alleged rape without producing 4 male witnessing is guilty of adultery.
But you can't even testify. That's a contradiction.
A woman or girl found guilty of adultery is punishable by death.
Wait, go read that before the adultery. About the rape and testifying.
Testimonies of 4 male witnesses are required to prove rape of female, meaning that you're a female, a rape happens. If 4 or more males don't witnesses and testify for you, you weren't raped. Oh
my God, that's horrible.
If you're a girl and you're found guilty of adultery, which means that you can't prove the rape, you're punishable by death.
That it ain't like you.
Right. It's for women.
That's all male driven.
Well, yeah, this is all male driven. Listen, a male convicted of rape can have his conviction dismissed by marrying his victim. So let's just say you raped. I'm just saying.
Why would you want to marry your victim if anyone
to avoid punishment?
Cut your stuff off.
Well, no, to avoid punishment.
They probably hang me.
Okay, listen to this. Muslim men have sexual rights to any woman, girl not wearing the hijab.
You know the whole reason they got to wear the hijab in the first place.
To make themselves unattractive, right?
To
diminish, right? Simple.
Pure, virgin like, right? And it's basically, I mean, as a man, you saying you can't resist a woman in regular clothes.
A girl's clitoris should be cut. A man can beat his wife for insubordination.
Why are we reading?
Because there was a lot of questions out there earlier about Sharia law and banking.
I don't like.
So it's not about liking it; it's about understanding the investment and understanding what these things mean. So nothing here has anything to do with banking, right?
Right. Nothing.
A woman's testimony in court allowed in property cases carries 1/2 the weight of men. A female heir inherits half of what a male inherits. A woman cannot speak alone to a man who is not her husband or relative. Meat to eat must come from animals that have been sacrificed to Allah.
Right, Sharon. I agree with you, Sharon.
Muslims should engage in and lie to non-Muslims to advance Islam.
Sharia law is full of shit.
Okay, listen, y'all. I'm not agreeing with Sharia law,
but that's like basically you can rape, you can kill, you can stone a woman, and she don't have no rights, and she can't say nothing. And I mean, come on, think about how many times a rape happened. Are you gonna have witnesses standing around watching it?
Well, that's when the liberal.
Stupid.
Hold on,
that's
when the liberal. Okay, well then that's when the liberals come forward and say, you know, it's okay to abort a baby at like 9 months old, but don't you dare kill a puppy.
I ain't even going there with that.
But
I'm on that Shira.
But hold on, that's what I'm saying.
Shira, we can't even get pregnant at that point. You done cut out our clitoris. You done stoned us. You done hung us.
Well, they didn't say that. They didn't say stone you. They didn't say hang you. They said that they could forcibly rape you by law, and as long as if there's 3 of us, it's okay because that's not forced to testify. I'm not arguing what you're saying to be right or wrong. I'm not the devil. Trust me, I'm not. Right. But what I'm saying is that
that's foolish.
These type of extremists, whether they're liberal, whether they're ultra conservative, are ultimately bad for everybody. You feel me? You have to find a balance in between everything. Religion, political stance, ethnicity. You've got to find your balance in the world. That's what I try to tell people. It's not that I'm so smart or stupid or whatever, but I understand that I'm a small wheel in a big cog, that the world needs each other. You think?
Where do they practice that in Iraq?
Those are sheer. I can read you the country that practice Sharia law.
I'm curious.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know. So I won't go there.
I'll go there.
Go there with a gun.
Well, we have guns.
Right. That part.
Countries that.
Yeah, even in Texas, Brand said Sharia law stones women. See?
Well, I didn't read them all.
You didn't read it all, but she said that.
But I'm not saying that. There are 15 countries that implement the form of Sharia law, including Afghanistan, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, and certain areas of Indonesia. So now that if you guys want to be self-religious or self-sacrificing, the Maldives, Malaysia, we talk about making money off Malaysia, Mantura, Nigeria, Pakistan, another area we talk about making money off of, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates, and Yemen. So before we become so holier than thou, if we're not going to participate in making money off these countries, then we ought to understand what countries practice these practices, right? And they're trying to induce Sharia law here in America. So if you don't want those things to happen, these Muslim-dominated areas, like they do in France and other places.
How are they going to introduce it here?
Because what happens is they go to a place like Detroit or somewhere like that, and they take over. They overpopulate it, just like New York. And they get voting powers, and they play with the laws. And once you get the people you need in position of power, that's when you can induce these type of laws.
I doubt that happens.
It happens now. If you look up Detroit, there's signs not only in Arabic, but there's signs in English also.
And that's okay to have signs in Arabic, but Sharia law, that doesn't sound constitutional.
Do you want me to Google that too to show you?
I mean, we can do that some other time.
Sure. I mean, I'm not here to argue it, but I'm saying it's happening.
I'm just saying like that basically based on Sharia law, a woman can be raped.
No, a woman can be raped by 3 men without a fourth to say anything.
Right. Or just one man is bad enough.
Right.
What I'm saying is she can't even testify.
Right.
That's some BS. And I didn't see that happen in Detroit.
Crap.
So
well, I mean, I'm just saying that in Detroit, because of how many Muslims are there, if they invoke Sharia law, it could be something.
Try that in Houston.
Well, you'll get shot in Houston.
That part. Somebody asked, do we have to wait for Iraq, Miss April, to RV or RI? What is it?
You have to wait till Iraq, or
you mean like I guess so? I guess they're asking. They want to know if Iraq should go first and then something with the other countries.
Okay. Here's the truth. Iraq could go first. I don't know. Don go first. I don't know. It all depends on the trade with Chinese. It also depends on the offset of how Iraq deals with the electricity crisis here coming up. If they go with Turkey and they have a surplus in oil and they can pay them, I can really still see Iraq going first. If China squeezes Vietnam and Malaysia and all these other countries into working hard to get their trade platform up, then I could actually see the Dong going first. So it's not like I'm a flip-flopper. I'm just telling you that it depends on what happens in this geopolitical scene. That's why I try to give everybody the balance of everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not just what's happening in Iraq or because this person says that or because this or that. We know the government wants to see Iraq succeed. They've said it several times in documents. We know Iraq wants to see it succeed. That's why people like Saudi are there that are populist are trying to make it go. But what we haven't seen is for them to take the steps to go, just like Vietnam.
Okay. I got a question for you. So let's say our currency RVs, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to go in the bank just willy-nilly, or are you going to make an appointment?
Okay, well, what I'm going to do with the bank is this. First of all, I'm probably going to take you with me. And the reason why I'm going to take you with me is because you're better reading at documents than I am. I'm going to take into the bank a finite amount of money that you and I have discussed off camera 100 times. I'm going there to tell them this. I want to negotiate the spread, the buy and sell rate of the dinar, because the amount of money that I'm going to deposit, I don't want to pay any fees. I want to be in touch with a wealth management person to help me execute what I want to as far as putting money in a trust.
So would you make an appointment or won't you?
No, I'm going in there off the cuff, naked.
Okay.
I'm going there willy-nilly.
Okay.
I don't want them prepared for me at all.
Okay. Now, and that's a question from.
And I'm not leaving my currency there at all either.
So Pastor Aha, yeah, that's what he's gonna do. Okay.
I'm going in there to force the issue. In sales, something is called you have to make the decision for the customer. I'm going there with enough currency to tell the bank either you want my business or you don't. But if I come back, it's going to be under different negotiating terms because I've already been to a different bank before I come back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or we could shop.
Well, you're going to shop banks. I'm going to shop the spread because you got to think if you're investing, let's say $100,000.
You put that in that first 5K dinar in there, see how it go, and be like, hey, Mr. Banker, let's talk some business.
Well, 10% of that 5K. Let's just say it's $500 in fees or whatever. But this bank says they'll do it for 1K.
Right.
You got to think about that stuff. The dinar did way better against other currencies in the marketplace. The euro fell against it. Gold was down. Silver was down today. And this is why I tell people, when you see red, especially in the digital currency market, such as Bitcoin had a huge fall today. When you see red, that's when you need to start planning on the buy. Now, you got to start understanding that if there's a buy rate, there's going to be a sell rate. Quit looking at this as an investment that you're going to buy into and hold it forever. Even the Iraqi dinar you're going to sell back, or exchange back for USD. Look at all these other currencies being the same way, except for dollars and silver. You're hedging those against the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, Shira Law is sick, Robert. I agree.
Iraq raised its ownership of U.S. debt to 66.8%. I'm bullish on buying bonds from Iraq as well as their stock market. Their stock market is doing awesome.
It's stupid.
What?
He said, don't cut the sex button off, ladies. That's how you ring the bell. Laugh out loud. Because they're talking about chopping off the dong.
The clitoris? I'm just saying.
No, shut up. Is it? I think
clitoris is what it
don't
said.
cut the sex button
Yeah,
off.
it's the clitoris. Just say clitoris.
Oh, okay.
Not the dong. Sorry, clitoris.
Okay.
Good try. Now, Iraq's GDP to grow 4.1% in 2019 thanks to oil prices. Now, Moody's says that they're going to have a stable year. Now, the thing that I want you guys to understand is this. First of all, if their GDP is growing 4.1%, the only other GDP that we've really studied and talked about is the dong, and I did that report on the other channel, but theirs was 6.8%. So you got to think of it from this point of view. The second greatest GDP is Iraq. Why is Iraq not reestablishing their currency and reinstating it, right? So that's why I say that's one thing that's going to happen. I read to you earlier that the Treasury Department, it said they wanted to get their currency back to former war times, which was $3.25. The Iraqi government themselves have told everybody that they want their currency valued at pre-war times at $3.25. Now, because of inflationary methods and how much gold they have and their treasury bonds and all this stuff they didn't have before, don't you see their currency being valued at something way greater than that? What?
I'm looking at you crazy. I'm looking at myself, look at you in here. But I had a question. Dang it, man. You threw me off. What was it? Oh, that's what I want to know. One of the subscribers wants to know, does Patreon prorate? So if they come in now.
Yeah, Patreon does prorate. So if you come in, I had one customer that couldn't do the whole $25 at one time. What they did was they put in $15, and that got them so much content. Then they could put in $10 more or $5 more. Patreon does prorate. So if you want to go in there with $10, do it.
Because it would be half of the month right now.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking about doing just as a special, I think we ought to do this. For anybody that wants to be in Patreon, that only wants to be in the video section, do you think we ought to do like a...
I don't know. I mean,
we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, because I don't
next
know.
month.
I don't
want to
know.
undercut the people that are paying a lot more.
I also don't know how Patreon operates as far as navigating, deals and stuff.
Yeah, well, you have to. I do, but I'll tell you about that later. So anyway, well, the whole idea about Patreon is to be a part of the wealth management group. Is it gets you access to the celebrity. We have people in the Telegram group that are
guest interview panel,
right? And they're founders and they're experts.
So people you interview, other investment ventures outside of Iraqi Dinar.
If you have a business you're promoting, we encourage it. We support it.
We discuss other fiat currencies.
Tons of
right?
other fiat currencies.
I discussed cryptos. We'll go into some peer-to-peer stuff later
Yep.
on. I'll show you my peer-to-peer account.
Precious metals.
Precious metals.
I'm buying my precious metals in Dong
and
this week.
then I think you're gonna have Jan.
Jan, the wealth coach on the last tier.
Okay.
Jan's coming aboard. She's already in the Telegram and in the Twitter. She's just observing. And so she's going to be in there to help you plan estate planning. She's going to help you plan out your, what do you call those things that everybody wants?
The trust.
The trust. You pay the one-time fee for a month. You get it done. It's a heck of a lot cheaper paying that than it is paying a trust provider, you know, somebody else to do it for you later on. And you can get that done in 30 days and still get all the availability of the content that comes out.
Terrell asks, are we waiting on Iraq or Mr. Trump?
I think you're waiting for Mr. Trump, honestly.
He's squeezing him.
Heavy in the Chevy, he's squeezing him. We need to see the popular mobilization forces reduced. We need to see China's currency start to go up. A bunch of millionaires were made this week in the digital currency market in China and Japan. A few Americans, I believe, because of the bull run that the Bitcoin market went on. The Central Bank of Iraq has announced that the country has foreign reserves exceeding $60 billion in the first quarter on Wednesday. Iraq's reserves are super high. That's it for the news, y'all. We went way long. Any questions?
I've been asking them along the way. Hi, Emilio.
Hey, Emilio. ¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, I've been asking them along the way. Somebody asked, when do you think the Article 8 will be in effect? Article 8 will be in effect.
I think Article 8 will be in effect as soon as you see that the GOI has some type of governance over the Article 140 with Kurdistan. When you start to understand that with that, they may find out that they are going to use the census for something like the Q cards or something like that, then I think you're going to start to understand at that point what's going on with the investment as a whole. Okay, so I'm in the chat now. Okay, babe. I don't have to agree with someone to make money off I have lots of customers I don't like. Jay Lopez, I agree. I mean, the whole idea here is that you can talk about it. The thing is, you don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to leave foul comments. But if you disagree, call in. If you disagree, join one of the groups. Talk about it if you disagree. If you can prove my point differently, talk about it. But when I hear people talking to me and they tell me, well, why don't you do this for this or do that for that, change the platform? No, because there's too many rude people that don't want to play by the rules. So no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it for free. You want to be astute, you want to be involved, do it for pay or do it for pink slips.
Oscar says Sharia law is not negotiable. I get that.
Sharia law is not negotiable, but it's up for interpretation. That's a total difference.
Sharia law sucks.
Hey James, hey Pimpe, Uncle Pimp, Uncle Luke.
I mean, you know, when you think at it, I mean, besides me being a woman, but as you being a man, and you think about a daughter that you have, a mother that you have, you know what I mean? And that Sharia law, that's no.
Well, okay, and I'm going to say this like this. Neil Parler, my friend, he's a good friend of mine, says, he goes, I live, so many miles from a radical Muslim training camp. And that's why I'm a big Second Amendment person. I believe that you have the ability to not only protect your home front, but to protect your family. So now I'm saying that I think any extreme group is bad. Muslim, black, white, Latino.
They're called extreme for a reason.
They're extreme. Now, they're not for the regular basis of getting along to get along. So if they're bad, they're bad. Don't get it twisted, okay? But I think that there's a general fear for a lot of things going on right now. And I don't think about white nationalism. I disagree with racism. There's no reason for it, not in today's day and age. You know what I'm saying? So understand this, that we all are on this planet as one race, the human race. Now, how you decide to identify and collectively generalize yourself is up to you. But I believe in everybody, not just somebody. Iraq has had a surplus for a while now. Sammy D, you're right, Lex, they have. Trump is meeting with the Chinese president in Japan next month. He is passing through here on Guam on the way back. Jason, when he's there in Guam, let us know, please.
I'm with Sam on this one. Sam says, I will go to the bank with a small amount and check how it operates. I agree.
Sam, our exit strategy has always been this. Miss BB and I have a finite amount of IQD or currency that we're taking to the bank at a one-time exchange to set up all of our accounts and trust, but to see the procedures, how it goes. So when we come back, we know what to do to make it move smoothly. So yeah, it's called the get well scheme. We're going to trade in, exchange enough money out that we can pay off whatever we want to pay off, go on a little mini vacation, do whatever we want to do for a while to take time off to enable ourselves when we come back. We'll take care of the rest. Right, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They said, Pimpe, what bank? My bank manager said, get his attention and let him know I'm bringing in foreign currency. They look up the current rate and just deposit. And Pimpe, that's Pimpe saying that, and he's with Wells Fargo.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Wells Fargo because of a lot of things. JP Morgan Chase, Barclays, all of them got hit with fines manipulating the Forex. So don't think of it as so much as all banks are good or bad. Use the banks that you feel comfortable with the people that are there.
Right, Eureka 88. She said, they said they're bringing in $1,000 note and see what happens. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Hello? Hold on real quick. Hold on. Hang on. I got two people online here. Oh, merging. See what happens. Okay, I got Jason the Body on the line. I got my friend here from Texas on the line. What's going on, y'all?
Hello, Mr. Brando, Miss BB.
Hi.
Hey.
There.
This is Jason again. Good evening. Not the bodybuilder, yep. Jason, the one from Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. Not big Jason, but little Jason.
Little Jason, yeah.
Well, what's going on, cousin? What you got going on?
I've got a quick question. I'm with you on the who is that? With Babe, with that other group, and I wanted to know more about the wealth management, and I wanted to ask you. You said that the third lady that you're bringing in is what was her name again?
Jan,
the wealth coach.
Yes, Jan, the wealth coach. That's what I wanted, Jan. And is that through PayPal, or how did we do that? How do we sign up with you again?
It's through Patreon.
Miss BB will post the link in the description.
It's already in the description, and then I'll post it in the chat as well.
Yeah, so you can sign up. And this is what's going on. Everybody that's grandfathered into the first couple tiers is going to get advantages of the third tier. The third tier, of course, is going to have advantages of all tiers. But yeah, we're trying to build up the Wealth Management Club to get people to invest in more things than just a dinar. Because of the criticism and the sheer attack on YouTube, I'm not able to give the YouTube all of that because I don't want to hear the crap about it. I get enough of the negative comments. I'm done with it. But if you join the group, then you get me most of the time. I'm almost on there all day long on our secret Telegram group, our secret Twitter group. I'm in. We have a registry group. We have some celebrity guests in Telegram and the.
And you post videos in the Patreon.
I post a ton of content in Patreon, so you have access to currency all day long. My investment strategy, what my rates, my dates, all that. You want to hear it? You got to go there. I'm not doing it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, these guys, man, have run me ragged with that. I'm sorry. And I know you believe in it because we talk all the time, but I just can't do it no more.
No problem, Mr. Brando.
Well, thanks, brother. We'll talk later on, okay?
And I posted the link in the chat box.
Good night.
You too, man. Have an awesome one, Jason, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. We got 8 minutes left.
You had somebody else on. You had 2 calls.
Jay, still call back.
Oh, okay.
Pimpe, I think everybody's kind of like at this point with this investment. China needs to make a move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need China to really do something to feel something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, China burns off their local currency in their everyday PBOC type of system. Jason, he might be on.
I think you gotta put him on speaker, and you gotta
Probably do. Hold on, Jason. I'm sorry.
We have 9 days to exchange. What is your thoughts? Pastor said they're saying we have 9 days to exchange. What's your thoughts?
That's complete and utter bullcrap, Pastor. I don't mean to say that to you, but we have more than 9 days to exchange. Jason, you there?
Yes, sir.
Tell Pastor to call me directly.
Okay.
Besides this.
No, he's just going by what they're saying. He's asking, is it true?
We'll tell Pastor I love him, but to call me directly for stuff like that. I'll help him.
Okay.
Jason, what do you want to say, big bro?
Hey, on the topic that I messaged you there on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sort of big news around here that he's going to be passing through. And my hunch, like what happened when he met with the NK president in Vietnam when they had their talk. Now he's going to meet with the Chinese president in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I'm guessing is probably, and I'm really going to be paying attention to the background details for you and everybody else, because the last time that he went to Vietnam, Mike Pompeo followed and Steve Mnuchin followed.
Mm.
So basically you got your right-hand man and your money bag man walking around with you. So what's going on there,
Absolutely, bro. Hey, man. Hey, I've got someone that just called in. I don't mean to hang up on you, but let me call them and see what's going on.
Yeah,
we'll talk later, okay?
It might be Eureka 88 because they asked
Okay.
if they could call.
We'll call you back, bro. All right, man.
Eureka 88 his that.
I don't mean to do that to Jason because he's a very good guy and he always stays tuned, but this might be somebody. I'm calling you back, Long Beach. Tell Long Beach I'm calling him back.
You just told him.
Long Beach, I'm on your heels.
Oh, you got to put
it. Hey, Long Beach, is this you?
No, actually, it's not Long Beach. It's Claremont. How are you doing, Mr. Brando?
Good. I know about Claremont.
Hey, Miss April. How
Hey
are
there.
you doing?
Good. I went to Long Beach State, so I know about Claremont.
Oh, so you know this area.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you guys, I love your show. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
We love you too.
Oh, thank you. I have a question for you, and this is just it's crazy how I just what you were talking about, Mr. B, about geopolitical.
Mm-hmm.
I now know about the politics of the Middle East better than I know about American politics.
Sad but true, right?
Oh gosh, yes. Okay, so here's my thing. I've been looking at the map of Iraq,
right,
and how Iran is on one side, then you have Turkey, then you have Syria,
okay,
and then on the bottom you have Jordan, which a wealthy country with high value to dollar.
Right.
You have Saudi Arabia, you have Kuwait, the UAE. All that is at the bottom, and that's of course toward the Persian Gulf.
Right.
And there's a clear border right there between the it's almost as if. It's like, okay, Iraq is right in that middle part. They can be with Turkey, Syria, Iran, or they can be on the side that's making the money and has a high value. And it just looks like, I don't know if our country is doing it, but it just looks like it's a clear border right there between, it's either you're going to be on that side or you're going to be on this side.
Right. It's kind of like make a choice, right?
Yes.
Right. It's like... You've got to choose. I totally agree with you.
Yes.
And when I told you I totally agree with you, I agree with you so hard that it's like, I think that what people fail to realize about this whole endeavor right here is this. It forces Iraq to develop a different trade partner. Meaning that if I stop buying Iranian oil and I start buying Turkey oil, it's not that the oil burns funny. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it has a smell to it. It's the same oil that comes from the same oil fields. We're just trying to open your understanding of where it comes from. And these guys want to work with you. It's not like they're forcing you. The more you isolate Iran, the more that you get their militias out of there, you get the foothold out of there, the more it opens up Iraq to exposing itself to the world to not be afraid.
Yes. Yes. And the thing about it, sanctions against Syria, sanctions against Turkey, sanctions against Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on that side sanctioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting. I like looking at that kind of stuff, and it's so amazing.
And I'll give you one more caveat to all those sanctions. In Syria, what Islamic crazy group is in Syria?
I don't know.
There's one of them, I'll tell you. In Turkey, what's the one in Turkey? Gaza Strip. In everywhere that those places are sanctioned are nutso Islamic militias, okay, that run rampant. And they basically control the environment. It's not, you guys don't understand. I think you get it because you just touched on it. Iran is a superpower because they've done a super job of screwing up the region through its investments, through Syria, through Russia, funding by China to screw up the industry to keep a foothold in the energy market. It doesn't matter that America's there to oversee our interests with ExxonMobil. Iran has a foothold in the mind of the Iraqi people. And that's why we've got to see these militias taken down. That's why you want to see Ali al-Laq gone. That's why you want to see the PMUs taken down a notch. You got to see all that before you can start to really understand this is them saying, there's tag. I choose America. I don't choose Iran. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. But you know, it's funny because first Turkey, they said, we're going to block all the water. They blocked, I don't know if it's the Euphrates or the Tigris. Iran, same thing. We're going to dry them out. We're going to block off the Euphrates or the Tigris. I can't remember which one because I'm not looking at the map right now.
Preach, you're doing good.
They worked in collusion to block, to dry out Iraq's water and to just basically, first they wanted to cut off electricity during the summertime, which is coming up. Then they blocked off the water. So now we're right now with a partnership to get electricity from Jordan.
Yeah. And
they're
Turkey.
helping us right now. And so basically what we're showing Iran is that we don't need you. Now we do need that water. And that's actually a Geneva Convention thing. For them to block water from that shared water that they're damming back, especially Turkey.
Right.
So, but thank God for the rains, because the rains have actually brought back the wetlands.
That's what we've been. That's why I reported it way earlier this year that the dams were full. We didn't have to worry about that. The only thing we got to worry about really is what? Electricity, right?
Yes, yes.
Because I've been sitting in this hot house for 4 days, sweating my big behind off, and this ain't Iraq. You feel me? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I got one more thing to say to you.
Okay.
Understand that every country that you've kind of gone over right there has a basic Shiite type of control, right? The Yazidis, they're nuts also. What we want to see kind of, I believe, is more of a Sunni balanced type of thing. I think they're more westernized, if that's copacetic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in this whole thing, I'm going to put you on the spot, okay?
Okay.
I know you believe in the Iraqi dinar, okay?
Yes, I do.
Do you see it going before the end of the year or before the end of the summer?
I see it going before the end of the summer, because if they don't, it's going to, those protests they had last year are going to look like nothing compared to what's going to happen this summer.
And it won't matter at that point. You know what will happen by the end of the year if it doesn't happen by summer. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
If it doesn't happen by summer, there wasn't enough pressure. That's going to push you back out to January. That will be by proof, because you know what the ultimate equalizer is in the Middle East?
What?
That all of them can't run from? The heat. You can't run from the heat. The heat is all knowing, all seeing, and all hating.
Exactly. I mean, look at you and Miss BB.
Woo!
Let me tell you, you go a week without AC, it'll change you.
When you cut down your show to half an hour, I know something's up.
And that was our worst viewed show. Everybody bitched at the beginning about, y'all talk too long. Y'all talk too long. Our show, 8,000 views. 30-minute show, 2,000 views. They wanted the show.
Okay. No, we want to see you. That's just, hey, I can see how uncomfortable you guys both were. So hey,
Thank you for understanding.
It was little Wakanda. When the cameras came off, it was little Wakanda in here.
Like, okay, look, I got to go.
I got to come out these clothes and walk around here Nikki. Okay? Hate on that.
TMI.
Hate on that. Tattoos.
Hey, at least you came out for a minute. So thank you.
And what's your name?
Nicole.
Nicole, you keep being Nikki if you can't be Nicole.
My nickname is Nikki, and my name is Nicole.
Well, you know that song by Nicki Minaj, right?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? First name Nikki, last name Nicole. She's talking that itch. I like it. Gang in the building. Gang. Well, hey,
Thank you guys.
thank you, okay?
You're welcome.
You have a blessed night. We'll talk to y'all on Monday, okay?
Okay, have a good weekend.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You almost done? Because we got to get off this call.
Okay.
I'll take a couple more. I'll take a couple more.
No. How do I say his Muscakin? He was saying earlier, and I was trying to find it.
Hold on. Blanca, there was a person that reached out to me last show that said they were very poor and that they needed dinar. They needed
it to RV.
They needed to
They're
RV.
in a bad
Hold
way.
on. I had someone that wanted to donate them like 100,000 dinar. Would you please inbox me them?
Or have them, or you mean have
Would
them?
you say them?
They can text you
Yeah.
the 903 number that Babe posted, or
Yes.
call you.
Yes.
That'd probably be the
And
best
can I
thing.
get them in touch with the person that wanted to give them a donation?
I mean, I guess once they
Well, that's
call.
what I'm saying. The person that told me that they were
In a
hurting
bad
in a
way.
bad way and they needed some help.
They're stupid. Basically, call in or text him, and you can do it.
So
all.
that person can give you their donation of like 50,000 dinar.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Just put him on speaker.
Oh, Luther stuff.
Hey, Nikki, good Lord, she brought it all, man. She's touching on a lot of great points. The water issue over there in the Middle East, while it's starting to become an issue, Turkey up above found out that if they can control the water, they can get paid, by the people that are down below with all the oil. So she's bringing up some really good things. There's a lot of things going out there in the Middle East right now that are big time in it right now.
That's what I was trying to tell you. I was looking for that comment.
Yeah, I already know that, but what he's saying, but I don't believe that. He lives in dinar and dong.
Okay.
Now here, Uncle Luke. Okay.
Yep.
Did you see today that Iran asked Washington to come to the negotiating table?
To ask who?
Washington to come to the negotiating table?
Oh, with Iraq or Iran?
Iran, yeah.
Yeah. Because you see what's happening is Iran is yanking Iraq into this war. They brought their missiles across the border and into Iraq.
Yeah.
I would be really pissed about that. I don't think Iraq wants anything to do with this. And I tell you, to be honest with you, nobody knows what to think of Trump.
Right.
Because, he has no problems with just rolling up on people and blasting their ass. And when he was running for president, remember, he said, look, he was talking about North Korea, of course, he said, or ISIS, I think. He said, look, I'll bomb the shit out of those people. And, excuse the cursing, but you know what I mean? You just don't know what to think of him. I mean, he was sitting at the table with the leader of China, eating moose cake, talking about why we're sitting here eating. I'm blowing the crap out of Syria. So, you just don't know what to think of Trump, and he's unpredictable. But I think he really does have a lot of good things, great intentions, I really do. But I also think he really does want to try to avoid any kind of war in the Middle East. I really think he's geared on keeping peace in the Middle East. But the one group, and I think is really preventing that, is without a doubt Iran.
Well, Iran's foothold into extreme crappy organizations like Hamas, the Iran Revolutionary Guard, into the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. That's why I say they're a superpower. They don't realize it. They're a superpower.
They're not a superpower, but let's put it this way. Thanks to Obama sending them the billions of dollars that he did, helped them finance a lot of these terrorist groups. But those funds are gone. They're pretty stretched right now. But their main goal is really to just get rid of America's biggest ally that's helping keep peace in the Middle East, of course, which is Israel. Their real goal is to blow them off the map, make no doubt about it. So they can make all kinds of threat towards us that they want, but the real goal is to get people to gang up on Israel and just remove them. Because people forget, there was what we called the 3-day war, when he had that little tiny place, Israel, whipped the crap out of the 3 largest countries around them in 3 days. You know what I mean? So
I'd like to see Israel initiate the attack against Iraq through Hamas.
Like to see that.
I would like to see Saudi Arabia initiate the attack. And here's one for you. I'd also like Turkey to get involved and take a side with either Israel or Saudi Arabia to solidify themselves as a
Turkey was
partnership.
down here. They were here visiting with Trump. I think that was a big a conversation about where the hell do you guys stand on all this? Because, you know, I wouldn't say exactly Pakistan's our number one friends.
Right.
They seem to be siding with what's going on with Russia and China for the most part.
Right.
But Israel is really the key holder to a lot of what's going on there. Iran, I think, is just really fluffing their feathers. They're really out of money. I think they're really hurting financially, and they know that their government's about to be teetered. I think, in my opinion, the people will take to the streets. They're about to rebel, and it was close last time. It's been close a few times, but I think we're about to see that. But right now, they're just desperately looking for help.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Pimp. Uncle
and Charles, I'm gonna go through Chase to buy my dong. I have dong. It's a small amount. I think I went through Banknote World to buy what I have now, but I don't like all the shipping fees and all that other stuff. So I'm just gonna talk to my local bank right up the street.
I want $4 million in dong to get me right. I don't know.
Yeah, I just want to. I got $4 million.
Yeah, $4 million is my number on dong. I'm saying it now.
Yeah.
One more thing, Pepe, I wanted to ask you real fast. Okay, before I let everybody go. How did you, I gave my perspective on how I felt the dinar worked against the other currencies, such as the euro. I told you that bond notes that they perform 4 times better than bond notes in the open markets. How did you feel about Iraq's GDP as opposed to its credit rating and as opposed to it reevaluating between now and, let's say, summer? How do you feel?
You're asking a really tough question. It's not so here's.
It's not a one-part question, you know.
Yeah. I think if we're okay, you did talk about earlier how Iraq seems to be buying up all the debt from the United States. If they've learned anything from China, and that is the more debt you buy from the United States, then that allows the United States to technically work for you, because China owns so much of our debt that all the money that we were creating to pay off that debt, all they did was just hold it, and we were making them rich just by them holding our bonds. I think Iraq learned a lesson from that. Their foreign currency reserves are building, but just for the record, I want to throw this out there. So is Vietnam's. I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but between Iraq and Vietnam, their foreign reserves are really building up. You know what I mean? So I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but again, I'm still going to say this. I still think 2019 is a good year for the dinar.
Agreed.
I was hoping. I think it should have already been done. If it wasn't for those damn auctions, we get rid of them. I don't know so much anymore that these 2 cabinet members need to be put in there, as much as we just need the auctions to stop, to be honest with you.
Ismail Ali al-Haq is the number 1 AH in Iraq. And I hate to get you, Uncle Pimpe. We'll talk later on tomorrow. I've got to run. Miss PB is tired. It has been a day. We've got yawning.
Hey.
She's lost it. I could talk this all day long. If you guys want to consider the conversation, go. Uncle Luke will probably be in the Twitter group or the Telegram group in about 10 minutes if he's not going on date night with his wife. My date night with my wife starts in 5 minutes, and so I will go. I love all of you guys. Daisy loves you. Have an awesome day. Go check out Patreon. Go check out the Rev Card. Go check out Mr. Brando on YouTube, and God bless all of you. God bless my friends Pempe. God bless Babe. God bless Daza. God
Bethany.
bless Bethany. God bless
Mr.
Kevin
Frazier.
Wells, Mr. Frazier.
God bless them all.
God bless Jason, Link Bear, Whoa. God bless Beth,
Infinity,
Sarone, all you guys that give me an ounce of your attention because I don't deserve it. Thank you. And I am nothing without any of you guys, and I appreciate all y'all. I will talk to you on Monday unless something happens.
have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.